My goal in this video is to recreate the drum part, rhythm guitar part, bass part, as well as write/improvise a guitar solo, all by ear. I'd like to do this with some cheaper / completely free materials because A, I'm like 8 years old and can't afford studio quality equipment, and B, I like to prove you don't need a ton of money to make a pretty good sounding song without destroying your financial situation. At the end, I'll go over some pros and cons, what worked with the song and what didn't, things both you and I can learn from to improve the quality of our music in the future. Also, for these types of videos, I'll probably sprinkle in some random tips or suggestions I have from the things I've gathered. Also, in these types of videos, I'll probably sprinkle in some random tips or suggestions I have for you from the things I've gathered. What the f***? Also, in these types of videos, I'll probably... Also, in these types... Also, in these types of videos, I'll probably sprinkle some random tips or suggestions I have for you from the things I've gathered from my musical experience. I'm definitely no professional, but I've been into music for nearly a decade now, and different perspectives are always good to hear. Alright, let's go for it. I think the plan is to literally just listen to it. I'm already kind of familiar with the song just a little bit, but have not learned it. We will see how far I'm able to get in the least amount of time possible. So that's the plan. All right. Sounds like an F. Okay, so it's. Let's try drop. Wait, I do not have. Okay, so it's definitely farther than drop D. Sounded like it went. So I think it goes all the way down to a C. I don't think that's normal. Well, this has happened before. My good guitar has an issue with the soldering on the grounding wire and the input jack. So I have downgraded to a Squier. Yeah, I think the plan is now maybe we make this like a budget thing. Like, look how cheap you can do this. Where were we? That's unfortunate, bruh. I'm kind of mad right now, to be honest. I had just discovered that it goes to a C. And this is Mudvayne, so I'm going to take a wild guess and say this is probably in drop C. Okay, so I have fine-tuned. So I think I need to change some shit on here because I'm pretty sure I heard some like stacky, splashy type stuff going on with the drums. Yeah, I think it goes to like a splash type of sound. This is the beauty of having an electric drum set. If you want to change something, I mean, it's not going to sound as realistic, but like, it doesn't take that long. Oh. Yeah, I think that's like, so I think it's like, maybe? Or maybe this just a hi-hat, like open hi-hat. So I think I figured it out. He goes like, and then it goes as well as the snare, so like, you know what I'm saying? And then over that little first chorus thing, he comes back in with just some like, or something like that, basically. You know what I mean? And then he goes like, so I guess that's the drum part kind of figured out because, just because I say so. Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to be using the Drukari and electroharmonic silencer. There's kind of two reasons here. It's like, I mean, this sounds dope. It's probably the highest end distortion I have. It's really versatile. I'd recommend this, and for the price, it's honestly like you can go on Reverb and like get this for not that much money, and I think it sounds great. And this is also pretty good, but I'm also using it because it's really the only noise gate that I have.
The way that I like to use a gate, if it has a return and send, I find that it works better to, you know, put whatever distortion you're using through that return and send loop. So you take it from the output into the return. So you're going to take the input and put this into the send. So basically what that does is it means this pedal is basically only working through this one. In your full effects chain, essentially, this isn't going to really affect other stuff. And this is going to primarily focus on this. So I think it cleans up the sound really well, personally. And then from here, you'd literally just plug your guitar into the input and out from the output into your amp, whatever you're using to amplify your guitar. And I think you're going to find that that works a lot better. When you're just putting a gate after a distortion, it tends to be pretty unfocused, in my opinion, and you end up cutting a lot of highs, which, you know, nobody wants that.
Without the silencer on, or at least, you know, this noise gate on, I mean, you can hear, I mean, this is pretty noisy. Like, there's a lot of fuzz getting through, and especially at higher volumes, you're going to get a lot of feedback. But the second, with the effects loop that I put this through, basically, like, I mean, the second I turn this on, that all goes away, and you can still... I mean, right, that's pretty powerful. I'm just saying. I definitely recommend that.
I mean, this is a very modern sounding pedal, so I think my best bet is to just go for a very modern sounding guitar tone. So I'm gonna scoop these mids a little bit, and I'm gonna push the treble and the bass just a bit, and let's see where that's got me. Alright, clearly need a little bit higher on the threshold here. I think I'm gonna push these even higher because this pedal's really cool. I think it changes pretty dynamically. What I like about this pedal's EQ is it kind of seems like each individual knob, even though it is kind of just supposed to be, you know, bass, mids, and treble, I think it really adds some character and color every single time you're changing one of these knobs. I am gonna drop the distortion a little bit because in that song it does not sound like there's a ton of distortion. I mean, it's pretty washy, but it's not that washy. I think that's going to move us on to recording the guitar parts, and I guess we'll see where this gets us.
forgot to mention, I use a wah pedal there at the end, but depending on which wah pedal you use, you can get ones for, again, like 60, 70 bucks on Reverb. Alright, let's get into the pros and cons, starting with positives. I think the solos here really sounded good, even though they weren't necessarily a metal style. That grungier, kind of Mike McCready, ballady feel definitely complemented the feeling of this song. As for the mixing, I mean, I'm no sound tech. I don't know a ton about how to achieve the sound I want when it comes to editing and post, but using Cakewalk is fairly simple if you're the least bit comfortable with using DAWs, and their effects / mixing options are actually really solid for something that's completely free to use. I don't want to hype myself up too much, but overall I think it sounded pretty good. As for what I should change in the future, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the drums were threatening to clip that entire time. I had quite the struggle recording them. For some reason, all my sound equipment couldn't handle their levels at all, even though I had the drums turned nearly all the way down and had cut down both the high and low end significantly. I think it might be important for me to find a better way to record those, because that was probably the harshest thing in this mix. So what I take away from that is, if you don't have to record on electric drums, I would. Also, electric drums are not super responsive. Like, they are, but basically none of the quick, like, things I played came out the way I wanted. The mix is admittedly kind of drowned in reverb to hide the fact that it was recorded with not the highest level of equipment, but really, all these things are pretty negligible if you're just trying to slam out some demos, but still want them to be pretty listenable. I think we've achieved that here today. Have a good one, I'll see y'all later.